Oi, oi, oi. I love coffee. I also love technology and conversation and going live, I guess, right? It's been a hot minute or two since I bothered to go live. What do I mean by that? Well, my relationship with social media has changed. So let me get it out of the way. I'm Angus Wright. I also go by Angus by Design. And if you're seeing this, hearing this, getting wind of this, it means that you've stumbled upon my social media pages. I've had social media since it was a thing. I'll be turning 50 next year. It will be 30 years since I've lived in Ottawa, Canada. And so, I've been around the block, right? So I went live and I put in the comment section kind of what the topic was about. And today I thought in this live video I would focus on what personal responsibility means to me and what my personal priority placement list looks like. And I shared that even though I planned in advance, October really threw some curveballs my way. And I'm going to be straight up honest. If you scroll back to school yourself, right, which is something you'll hear in the spaces I'm in, you'll be able to see where I have probably said and done just about every humiliating thing I can um, to get the word out of what my boundaries are and what my limits are and who I am and what my values and ethics are. And part of living with lived experience or trauma or stigma or labels or diagnostic clinical language from non experts, it's really about unpacking and unraveling the stuff that's really outside of my control, right? So, personally, I really love this key concept. Anyone who's been in my life for the last 5 years, they may know that I'm an advanced level facilitator for a program called the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. You'll hear me say it 1,000,000,000 times because really I'm just a guy who discovered it in the bookstore. Mary Ellen Copeland, who has her PhD, she really, like back in the day when she was trying to get support for her wellness, she had been given the feedback that really there wasn't anything that the medical profession could do for her, that it would just be a matter of treating symptoms and kind of hoping for the best. Well, not to be done wrong or to be told what just simply isn't real. Mary Ellen Copeland decided to work with organizations that were in the peer support movement, in health movement, in patient advocacy. And she developed a questionnaire, which she turned into her life work. And then in 1996, she attended a conference. Now, I love the significance of that because in 1996, nearly 30 years ago, I hauled my ass from a teeny tiny box in a teeny tiny town where I couldn't even go outside for fear uh, to, well, I guess a teeny tiny box in a big old town where sometimes I can't go outside for fear. And why is that? Well, it's no secret where I live. It's no secret where I dwell. There's no secret the challenges we all face, right? Um, it just is what it is. So that's what I'm talking about. We talk about radical acceptance. So, what do I have control over versus what don't I have control over? Well, I have control over how I see my personal responsibility in anything. So, if it's my circus and my monkeys and I've been doing the dance and it's my tambourine and I'm shaking it and rattling the cage, well, then it's my personal responsibility to sort of unpack that, right? And to make that change, especially if I want to make a change in my life. So I can say, well, that isn't my circus, and I'm my only monkey, and it is what it is. So how do I unpack and unravel from there, right? Well, my personal priority placement list is the things that I need to do just for today. And why is that? Well, because I don't have like endless brain power and resources to handle all the juggles and the struggles and the coping and the moping and the drugs and the thugs and the slugs and the creepers and the, all the things, right? I can keep listing. Trust me, I go outside every day. I could point you to them. For me, sometimes it's like Sesame Street Live. Who are the people in your neighborhood, right? So I prioritize my safety and my health, my wellness. And I have to coexist with people who want to do drugs and that want to drink booze and that want to do those things together and then tickle their pickle, right? Or they want to do all that and then have a fight. Or they want to do all that and then spread gossip and lies, right? Or they want to take their feelings out. We can learn coping skills. Actually, I learned these from birth. Uh, I'll introduce you to my family if you think you have one up on them. My family, we come real. We come hard. We live life authentically. We do not give a flying f what your feelings are. That's just how it is. That's how I roll, right? Does that mean that's who I am? Does that mean that's how I practice? Does that mean how I want to live? Does that mean that that's why I live where I do and I have the life I have? No. It just means that I can choose me and I can allow my family to choose them, right? And then it's really about how do I connect those two dots. So again, now I talked about October. October, I went in there with an advanced directive, an advanced plan, an idea. It had been working for months and months and months. Well, it takes two to make a thing go right, and it takes more than two to make a thing out of sight. And out of sight, out of mind. Out of mind, out of practice. Out of practice, well, nothing gets resolved. So, I threw back, and then someone threw back some shit at me. And that's on them. And I don't have to worry. I don't have to back down. I don't have to do anything. I don't even have to advance forward. I just have to assess if that's important enough to steal my joy for today, or to steal my hope, or to rob me of the wellness that I deserve based on the care that I put into my life. And so it is what it is. I have priorities. My priority was to set up my apartment after being at camp for the summer. My priority was to get an action plan into place to see if I could do it all again next year. My priority was to see if I could reach out to people who disrupted my life, stole my joy, and continue to do so. Even after decades and decades of being told that that's the shittiest thing that they could possibly do. And you would be incredibly surprised and yet not, because we all have these folks in our lives who see the opportunity in other people's entrepreneurship and they just bask in that until they make the wrong moves and they get got. And what I say by get got means that aha moment where you were onto them the whole time. You know they've been mistreating you. You know that they've been taking advantage. But what can you do, right? It's either make choice and have access and be able to do the thing, or it's basically let people get to you. And I don't let either of those things happen. So if this seems like rambling, well, it probably was because I'm an improv artist. I don't want to live a scripted life. I don't come onto my social media to make it perfect and cookie cutter. Uh, I'm attention getting, I'm not attention seeking, right? I am here. I call it the Dharma Talks. I call it journaling out loud. I call it whatever the hell I want to call it. It's my space. That's the point. I'm going to point out to everybody that the whole time I was doing trauma specialist, peer specialist study and certification and training, it was for my life. It was for me to get a grip. And I got one. I now have a team of incredible supporters who understand the language. And if they don't understand the language, I can hand them a book. Uh, I mean, I have a whole union full of 200,000 people, not only in my town, not only across Canada, not only in the United States, but literally everywhere, past, present, and future. I'm part of a very large transit union and will continue to be. I don't care who else is in that union who doesn't think that I'm not an equal member. I have a proven track record of speaking to authority. And I have a proven track record of speaking to authorities within other unions. Um, because I've been a member of a union, an international union, for, well, since 2007. The rest is math. And, we've seen board members come and go, just like everything. Pride, non-profit orgs, sticker clubs, coffee groups. There's boards for everything. If that's your shtick, if that's what tickles your pickle, fantastic. I want to celebrate you. But if your shtick and your pickle surprise is funded to support me and support people in my neighborhood and my community, well, then I want to talk about that. I want to talk about access. If I show up to do a thing, if you advertise that you need a volunteer, I should not have to go through more trauma and drama. I shouldn't have to always be looking and seeking for support and resources when actually I'm just supporting myself to say enough is enough. So thanks everybody. That's been a hot. This is gonna end up being a 15-minute live video, and I have about 1 minute left. So I just want to recap that I just decided to go live again. It's something I'll do again and again and again. This is a wonderful tool that if you do not like the sound of my voice, unfollow, unclick, unsubscribe. If you get this in a screen grab, because I mean, I am a screenshot hotshot. If it doesn't have my name on it, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know where you got it. If we're part of the same union, and you haven't gotten the signatures so far, and you haven't cleared it with President, what's his face there? What was his name? Craig Watson, right? If you haven't cleared it with former President Clint Crabtree, and if you haven't cleared it with President of ATU Canada, John Danino, and You haven't cleared it with his sidekick and side hustle, Manny Sforza. If you've not cleared it with the international president, John Costa, and you don't have all those signatures, I don't care what union you're part of. You go ahead and clear it through all them. Get them to clear it through their friend and lawyer, John, right? I always say his name wrong. It's either McClucky. I don't know. He's got the kind of money that can correct me, I guess. Or at least not so far, but hey, here we are. Go ahead and clear all those channels first, and then go ahead and register your complaint with whatever law firm represents you, and then we'll start to cover off whether you need my attention or not. Okay? This goes if you hang out, if you work, play, study, visit any area of Centertown, right? So if you're not from here, that goes from our Rideau Canal right on over to Bronson. It goes from Gloucester Street, I believe, to the Queensway. Just remember, things change, people evolve, situations move, and some things don't. So those things that don't change and that they need to change, well, you guys are kind of on your own on that, right? Um, but that's okay. I encourage everybody, if you are having some thinks or some feels or some confusion, phone, landline, text, any device, 988. It's available across Canada and the US. That is where people like me who've showed up for 30 years, that's where you'll find them. They are people with lived experience on the front lines, helping people reach resources. Please be gentle with their hearts, right? We are all people. From there, right, they're trained, they receive special training in order to bridge you to resources that you may have tried a billion times to find before. We'll keep doing it, but please, please put yourself first. And that means just be calm and gentle. Get the support you need. Don't make everybody out to be a secondary character in your life. Treat everybody like they're the main character in their life and that we're all getting through it together. You deserve to get the support and the help you need. If you are concerned about your physical safety, if you have something that has happened and you want to speak to the police, we all get it. It may not be the first report you send. It may not be the first officer you speak to. Hell, it may not even be the Superior Court of Canada. Who knows? But what is real and what is true is that we live in Canada, we live in North America, and we're all souls having a human experience. And yes, there's challenges, but we don't have to make that anybody's fault. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Sending love. Here's to personal responsibility and my personal priority placement list. So even though I plan in advance October through some curveballs my way, what say you? I'm Angus, right? I also go by Angus by design. And I promised to end this video 5 minutes ago, but I make a lot of promises. I prefer to prioritize these conversations and speaking directly from the heart, like I do, just like I called it in the beginning. My Dharma talks or just journaling out loud. I wish you well. I wish you the best. I'll see you next time. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, feels, or feedback, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Go on over to my YouTubes. Hit me on up on the X. Go on over to the LinkedIn. Wherever. I like to just throw myself around. I'm a little bit slutty that way. All right. See you guys soon. Take good care.